Make sure y'all go on Joe Clair Instagram and ask him, am I lying? And if you're old enough to remember, you saw it. So when this dude Kurt Burrows is sitting there making it look like Diddy forced Big to diss Pop. That nigga Big had his own mind and he was saying what he wanted to say. Now, they ain't interviewing by the pool. They're in the park. They're on the basketball court. They're in the basketball court. So, the other stuff, right? You can ask those C's about that too. So that whole end of the whole first episode to me was a remix of Murder Rap. Like, I feel like 50 was being butthurt allegedly because Diddy slutted out his baby mama. And even though he trying to say it's because the nigga took him shopping, I felt like he did that whole Tupac thing because that had nothing to do with the trial. That had nothing to do with sex trafficking. That had nothing to do with him and Cassie or him and 50's baby mother. I felt like he did that to just try to, knowing that this trial is coming up. He tried to put that out there to try to put that Tupac body on Diddy. And then the whole thing all over again with the Source Awards and stuff. I'm like, yo, come on, man. How many times are we going to see this whole thing with the Source Awards over and over and over? Like, we heard this story over and over and over again, and they just going to keep regurgitating it, right? And this whole East Coast, West Coast, like, they wasted a whole hour reiterating the whole East Coast, West Coast beef, and then they try to make it look like the East Coast, West Coast beef started because Jake got killed in Atlanta, which had nothing to do with Diddy. And then I know Mark Curry sat there and told him the whole story and stuff, that how Suge and them niggas was antagonizing that Jamaican nigga, whoever he was, and the Jamaican nigga is the one that clapped, that killed Jake. That had nothing to do with Diddy, right? And Wolf did not kill Jake, right? And they just sat there and they chopped it up to make it look like the argument or the beef that ensued inside the spot, inside the club, with the Jamaican nigga, like it has something to do with Diddy. And it did. Suge told that story himself on Collect Calls. You heard Gene Squill tell that story. You heard Mark Curry tell that story. None of that, the Jake stuff didn't have nothing to do with Diddy. And they sat there and packaged it Like that was the reason why this whole thing started when it wasn't. Now you could probably say the Source Awards probably sparked the whole beef between the Bad Boy and the Deathrow, but the incident that happened in Atlanta had nothing to do with Diddy. Diddy was there. Jermaine Dupri was there. Them niggas was there. But they chopped that whole story up and made it look like Diddy had somebody kill Jake, and that's what started the whole war. And I bet you Mark Curry told them the whole story, and they just chopped it up and made that look like that's what sparked the whole beef between the East Coast and the West Coast, when that wasn't even the case. And it's like 50 of them allegedly just trying to put the Tupac murder on Diddy, right? Now, even myself, we're not having as much information that I know now, was believing that narrative, right? Until, more information came out and more, then now I started seeing things different. And I believe allegedly that Tupac got killed because he was trying to leave Deathrow. And I believe that Deathrow allegedly had him killed. But the way they chopped it up, they tried to make dots that connected it to Diddy, and all they was doing was using the whole murder rap narrative. They even had the lying ass mother effer Gray Caden in there. And Gray Caden in there talking about, yeah, we was investigating Keefy D for the Tupac murder. No, you wasn't. No, you wasn't. You was investigating the Biggie murder. Your job was the Biggie murder, and Reggie Wright Jr. was the lead suspect in the Biggie murder. You went to Reggie Wright Jr. and he told you Southside killed Biggie in retaliation for not getting their money for killing Tupac. You got that from lying ass Reggie Wright Jr. And then you went to Keefy D because you thought he killed Biggie. You wasn't investigating Keefy D for Tupac. Yo, that whole thing, that whole first episode was a farce. It was bull crap. This dude, Gray K, talking about, yeah, we was investigating Keefy D for the murder of Tupac. No, you wasn't, nigga. Las Vegas is not even your jurisdiction. You was LAPD, lying ass devil. They only went to Keefy D because Reggie told them that Southside Crips killed Biggie in retaliation for not getting their money for killing Tupac. But then Reggie would tell you that Tupac got killed by Orlando because he jumped on the gangbanger. So he don't know if Pac got killed because he jumped on Orlando, or then he turned around and then it's a hit from Diddy. Like, the niggas is liars. And then when Gray Caden went and accused Keefy D of killing Biggie and found out that Keefy D was with Biggie the night of when Biggie got killed, they was at the Peterson Museum. Then he went back to Reggie and like, yo, you lied. They was there. And then Reggie came up with this whole new narrative. Oh, no, it was Poochie. If you knew it was Poochie from the beginning, allegedly, why would you lie and say that it was the Southside Crips that killed Biggie if you felt it was Poochie? And then Reggie goes one step further and says that Suge hired Poochie allegedly to kill Biggie. And he goes on Vlad and says Suge killed Biggie allegedly. So Gray Caden is just a liar. We all know Gray Caden's a liar because then he goes and he writes a fake ass statement like he know how a black man talk, how a black man writes, how a black man from Compton, his lingo, and showed this girl, Tammy Hawkins, Suge baby mother, or Teresa Swan. They catch her doing some dirt. So they put pressure on her. He writes a statement as if he's Poochie, like he know how a nigga talk, right? And give it to her. And they got her dead to right on some crime. And they like, well, Poochie confessed to killing Biggie. And this is what he said. And she looks at it and goes, oh, well, if that's what Poochie said, yeah, that's what happened. Case solved. Yeah. She'll kill Biggie, right? Instead of being like, yo, chick, you lied. I wrote this goddamn letter. You lied to us. We got you. You going down for whatever we caught you for. No, they took that and said, oh, case closed. Yeah, it wasn't the police that killed Biggie. You know, the police ain't had nothing to do with it. It was Poochie, who was already dead, right? But Reggie tells him Southside killed Biggie, right? They go to Keefy D. Keefy D proves he got an alibi where he was at, and he's at the party. Then Greg Caden goes back to Reggie, and Reggie goes, oh, no. It was Poochie. Poochie did it, allegedly, right? So Greg Caden is full of crap. He was not investigating no Tupac murder because he's LAPD. He is not, he don't have the jurisdiction to investigate in Las Vegas. So that whole story in the beginning of the documentary, that whole first episode is trash. The whole episode was trash. They took the whole Tupac section of murder rap and remixed it and brought Greg Caden up there and took all the stuff out of that and remixed it and put it up there to try to put that on Diddy. And if that was the case, Diddy would be in jail with Keefy D or in place of Keefy D. Diddy never even got indicted for that. They just trying to spin that whole narrative again in this story, which probably was some filler because they probably just ain't have enough footage or enough story to as we see, they ain't really touched too much on what the case was about. They bringing up all this old ass stuff. Not sex trafficking, not the Rico case. They ain't talk about how he beat anything. And I'm just like, yo, that whole first episode was trash. Trash. Like it was I'm telling you, it was just a remix of murder rap. Without the Biggie part. And we know that narrative was created so LAPD could cover their butt from not making it look like no police was involved, so they didn't get sued by Mrs. Wallace. And that whole Diddy hit on Tupac. That whole thing. And then Tupac cousin, he go up there, he doing interviews talking about the Lakewood Mall incident, which we already know is a lie. His cousin getting up there talking about, yeah, it was a bounty on Deathrow chains and they took the nigga Trayvon Lane chain. Trayvon Lane never got took. His chain never got took. Talking about, oh, the nigga went over to Pac and told him, yo, that's the nigga that did it. And Pac ran over there. And that, first of all, he was in jail at the time. He states that. So who told you that? That whole chain incident was a narrative that was drawn up allegedly by Reggie Wright Jr. and them and Deathrow allegedly. We already know K-Dub said the chain never got took. He was there. He said the chain wasn't over. The fight wasn't even over a chain. We all know the fight was over set tripping, allegedly. Because Orlando ran into Trayvon, and Trayvon was from Long Beach. Orlando was from Long Beach originally. And they seen each other, and they was Long Beach Crips, allegedly. And when Trayvon moved over to Compton, he became a blood. They seen each other. He was down Mall Piru, and this nigga was still a Crip. And that allegedly is what caused them niggas to have a fight. The chain just came off in the scuffle. Trayvon chain was never took. That was a narrative and allegedly in the setup of Tupac. That was the story that they came up with to make it look like why Tupac went and rushed Orlando, which Suge told me that Trayvon told Pac, yo, there go them niggas from Bad Boy. That's the nigga that they hired. That's the niggas they hired Bad Boy to kill you. And that's why Pac took off and ran and rushed to Orlando. You think Pac would have risked his goddamn his bail for a nigga chain? Like, this nigga can't go fight for his own chain. You think Pac really would have ran over there and fought this nigga over a chain? No, the nigga was told, yo, that's the nigga that Bad Boy hired to kill you. And that's why Pac allegedly ran over there and rushed Orlando. Nigga ain't go over there over no goddamn chain. Tupac cousin, he just talking about something that he heard. It was no bounty or no death row chains. Matter of fact, I'll even show y'all. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976 allowance is made for fair use for the purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair uses of use permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing non-profit educational and personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. I'm using this under fair use to criticize, comment, as well as research in this Tupac murder, right? As well as news reporting in this Diddy documentary, The Reckoning, right? Now here's K-Dub right here, and he will tell you himself that the fight wasn't over a chain, nor did the chain get took. That's allegedly a Reggie Wright narrative as an alibi to why Pac got killed.
95-ish, right? When you are with Trey at the mall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you get into it with the Southside Crips.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened with that situation?
Well, I ain't gonna go all the way into it, you know what I'm saying? Because Trey not here, you know what I'm saying, and Mo not here. So, and it was we was together, you feel me?
Yeah.
But we was in the mall and everybody saying that the chain got took and all that. The chain never got took, just FYI.
Yeah.
For everybody info. The
Deathrow
chain never got took.
Yeah.
Y'all heard that, right? I ain't got to bring it back. Did y'all hear that, right? That's the first thing. The chain never got took. Now, when he asked him about the bounty on the Deathrow chains, right? Listen to what he said. And this is the guy that was there, right? Tupac cousin was not there. That nigga was in jail. And these niggas are sitting there trying to spin the narrative. And I'm not sitting here defending Diddy like Diddy ain't no bad dude and he ain't do no effed up stuff, right? But I'm just sticking to the facts. You know what I'm saying? I'm just sticking to the facts of the case. They did that whole episode and try to make Diddy look like something that he wasn't in this particular case. That is all a lie, bro. He ain't putting no bounty on no death row chains.
Because Trey not here, you know what I'm saying, and Mo not here. So, and it was we was together, you feel me?
Yeah.
But we was in the mall and everybody saying that the chain got took and all that. The chain never got took, just FYI.
Yeah.
For everybody info. The chain never got took.
Yeah. Trey's chain.
Trey chain never got took. We left with the chain.
Did all three of y'all have chains or no?
No, he was the only one that had one on.
Okay.
He was the only one that had one on. But the chain never left.
Yeah. But what happened with that day at the mall? Because they said you guys are just at the Lakewood Mall, y'all hanging out. It's just y'all three.
I ain't gonna do that one.
Okay.
Because me and him got to do that together.
Okay.
So that's why I said that.
Yeah. I mean, well, you got so many people that have talked about it and described, like Reggie has described it, Mom James described it, Snoop described it.
But I mean, how can people describe something when they wasn't there?
I don't know.
Y'all heard that? Reggie described it, Marv James and Snoop. And he's telling you that's a lie. They wasn't there.
From the outside looking in, I guess even I hear like guys that knew, like Keefy D described what was going on at that time and what happened. I don't know if he was there or not.
He wasn't there.
Yeah. But those are his guys, the Southside Crips.
Yeah. But he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Feel me? And it's been a lot of everybody telling the story when, you know, they wasn't there. Me, I'm only gonna tell what I see and what I know and what I was there. I ain't gonna tell you what I heard or this little analogy that I made up in my head. You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what I saw because I was there.
Yeah. Well, what's that like having everybody tell your story in a sense, or places where you were? Like that incident of what happened at the mall is told in so many different ways, from Baby Lane's perspective, from
he never told the story.
I know, but like Glasses Malone has a song, Tupac Must Die.
He wasn't there.
But that's my point. Like everybody else tells the story in a number of different ways. Even Eastwood has told the story to me like, oh, this is what I was told happened from Trey, or this is like everybody. Keefy D told the story from the Southside Christmas. Like everybody tells the story,
right?
But you were there, so I'm just like, how do you respond or even react to that?
As you see, I didn't. I just listen. Because it's eventually, you know, we gonna tell a story. It's all gonna come out. We're gonna lay it all out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The whole truth gonna come out and we gonna tell it. So that's how you gonna know it's the truth. We're gonna use the actual players who were there.
Okay.
That's how we gonna do that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Then everybody, all the myths and all that, they'll cease.
Yeah.
Because we gonna tell the story, how it really happened and what really happened.
Yeah. Well, it was just you, Trey,
And Mo.
and Mo, and that's
Yeah,
it.
the homie Mo. Yeah.
And they actually, Orlando Anderson never actually took the chain.
It came off, but then it didn't leave though. So, you know, I feel if you take something, that means you left with it. He didn't leave with it.
Yeah.
And then in the fight, I mean, shit, anybody chain could fall off if you fighting.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna lose something in a fight.
Yeah. Got it. So, what was that whole situation over? Like, I hear there was a bounty on Deathrow chains.
Yeah, that's what we heard too, and obviously it was because it was only 3 of us and like 7, 8 of them. So I mean, it was they was on the chain. I don't know who did what, or I don't know. That's what I've heard too, and obviously it was something because they wanted it.
Okay.
So I don't know what it was, but it was something.
Yeah. So when people say it was a bounty on the Deathrow chains, was that something that you guys talked about, being that y'all obviously all had Deathrow chains at that time?
What do you mean?
Like at any given time, did Suge sit somebody down or sit any of you all down and say, yo, the Southside Crips got a bounty, $10,000 bounty on our chains?
Nah.
Did y'all hear about that back then or no?
No, only after it happened.
Okay.
You hear that? So Suge never told nobody. There was no awareness that there was bounty for the Deathrow chain. But when they hear about it, after the fact. And why you think they hear about it after the fact? Because it's the fucking alibi, right? If it was a bounty on Deathrow chains, they all would have knew about it. All that became the alibi. That was the play to make it look like allegedly Pac wasn't set up.